The Image Effects plugin is an extremely simple tool to use, and it will automatically calculate the metallic effect for your image and for the different pixel values in the image. However, what it won't do is design the file for you. To get an image to work really well in print, you need to think about contrast, having areas within inside the design that are metallic and some areas that are not. So simply just running the plugin doesn't give you the perfect image. And we're going to show you quickly in a couple of steps how you can enhance an image using Image Effects. So first of all, we're going to take this image of a paint can and we're going to go into Adobe Photoshop, and you'll notice how it's just a CMYK image here. And we're going to open up the ColorLogic Image Effects plugin. This gives you two options. You can either generate a silver ink separation or a white ink separation. Now for this design, I'm going to do it with a silver ink. So all I have to do is click and apply the plugin. It's going to go through and calculate all the different metallic effects for the different tonal regions within inside the image. So the darker areas we don't want metallic, the highlights we don't want metallic, but all this coloured and mid-tone range we do. So that's what the plugin is going to do. It's going to calculate those effects for you and generate a silver separation. Now from here, this is where you need to start thinking a little bit more about how to design. Don't just leave the image with the plugin creating the separation for everything. You need to use contrast. So I'm going to make a mask around my paint can, and in this instance I'm going to keep the metallic effect in that paint can area. I'm going to go onto my separation, and what I normally do is feather the separation a couple of pixels just to give it a softer edge around the outside of your mask. And then I'm going to put my foreground and background. I'm just going to invert the mask, so now select all the background and just delete that to white. So basically delete the areas that you do not want to be metallic. You've now got contrast. You've got metallic in the paint can next to no metallic. So then the light can bounce off this and react differently and be perceived differently by the eye to what you're getting here and here. But from there, this is where we now have to take it to the next level. If you were just to print this image out, it's going to look okay, but you need to use it in a design. You need to think about color vibrancy, color saturation, having accent points on your design that really bring the image to life. So I'm just going to save that file, and then I'm going to go back into Illustrator. And it's now asking me to update, so yes, that's fine. I'm going to update my file. It's going to bring in that silver separation for us into our document. So if we now look at our separation preview, you'll see it's brought across that silver separation. Now from here, I'm not going to do the design work. I'm just going to show you how I would use this. So it's a paint can. Paints are smelly, their fumes come off them. So let's play on that. So first of all, I'm going to set a piece of artwork. It's just vector, and it's kind of like a roses or a floral type vector graphic. You can use whatever you like. Next, I'm going to add some text. So this is going to be the scented paint company. It smells like roses or whatever you like. I would keep the floral elements in CMYK. I'd keep this subline of text in CMYK. But here, maybe let's just take advantage of that silver. So we've got our swatches. It's brought our silver separation. So let's apply the silver to that. So this is going to be metallic silver text. This is process. So now if we see, we have metallic, no metallic, metallic, no metallic, and light can bounce off the file quite quickly. Next, I'm just going to add in a copy line text down here. We have some black text, and again, I'm just going to make that silver. So really quickly, really easily, we've now changed a boring, rusty old paint can into something that's going to have a metallic shimmer and shine, contrasted against the four color. The brightness of the four color makes the artwork come to life. So although it's a very simple design, it's actually now got something that is usable with inside print. So the golden rules with the image effects: just because you can make the image metallic doesn't mean you should leave it as everything in metallic. Think about contrast, think about how metallic elements might work, and only go for about 30 to 40% of the job in metallic. So notice how we've got this paint can, 60% of the design is going to be in CMYK. And that gives you visual clarity. Use bright, bold colours to actually work against the metallics, which are naturally quite dark and dull. So this is why we provide an educational program to our clients. Using metallics is simple if you know what you're doing. So have a play around, try some images, see for yourself, and good luck with your conversions. Using image effects to create a white ink separation is just as easy, especially for the photography side of things. So let's run through that and we'll create the same design once again, but using a white ink separation. So let's take the can, go into Photoshop. It helps if I open the file. Let's open that in Photoshop. I'm going to open up the ColorLogic Image Effects plugin, and this time we will use the white ink button, which will load in a second. So we go, notice CMYK, click on white ink. It's going to go through, generate the same scripting, but generating the white ink plate this time. And for a visual representation on the computer screen, our plugin creates a separation with a screened value of 30% yellow. So it's just a random color, so you can actually see it on your computer screen, because the thing with white is you cannot see it on a computer monitor. Okay, so same process as before. We're going to go to our paths, make a selection, and this time I am going to fill that with black, which is 100% white, even though it's called black. So it's obviously, if you understand that, solid prints solid white, tints print as tints of white. Okay, so we can save that file. We can then go back into Illustrator. It's going to update that with a white ink plate this time. And then we'll do the same sort of thing as we did before. We'll go to our layers, we'll turn on the roses. Now this time, because we're working with white ink, you have to do a white knockout mask. So this is where it can get complex on your design. And this is why we have our full system, the ColorLogic Process Metallic Color System, that will build the white separations with inside all your different applications like Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, fully automatic. Here I'm just going to do a very quick, crude white knockout mask and keep the artwork quite simple again. So I'm going to pick up this vector graphic of the flowers. I'm going to go to edit the contents of the clipping mask, and I'm going to duplicate them. So I'm making a duplicate copy. I'm going to put white ink, so let's put my palette down here, white ink over the top. And zoom in so you can see what's happening. I'm just putting full on white, and we can then use something like maybe the overprint from our attributes and make that overprint. So the white is now overprinting the colour. Zoom back out. So now if I just turn off my preview, you'll see how we've got this white ink mask. If I turn back on my preview, you'll start seeing it back in colour. For my text, this text here I wanted in CMYK, so I need to duplicate that and make a white ink mask over the top and set that information to overprint. This bit here, originally I had it in silver. Okay, so silver ink was on the other one. This time I want the silver substrate to show through. So it needs to be the white ink plate, but the value of that white ink plate needs to change into 0, which will then allow the substrate to come through. A little bit more complicated when you work with white ink. Silver separations working in the positive mode is quick and simple. When you work with the white ink, you have to think in reverse, creating knockout masks, and that's where the complexity comes in. We can put on the copyright text. So down here, this box, which is white, needs to be white ink, and the text we had as silver. So if I want that to be silver substrate, you need to put the white ink, change the value down to 0. So then what happens is the silver substrate shows through. So there we go, quick and easy-ish, creating white ink plates, and there we have our two files. After this demonstration, you'll see a visual of both of the designs in metallic, so you can see exactly what it is we have created. With our images converted, we're now going to actually take those files and visualize them on the screen, so I can show you how they would look if you were to print these out. So to do that, I'm actually going to be using the Esco Studio Visualizer, which is a pre-press viewing tool. It allows you to be able to visualize the different metallic effects, as well as many other things like spot colors, varnishes, embossing, and you can even do CAD file visualization as well. But for this purpose, we're just going to actually show you how to build a file and visualize it on the screen. So we have our scented paint company poster design that we created, and what I've done here is, I'll just turn off some of the layers. I'm going to start off in this instance with a foil board, and then we print on top of that the white ink separation that we created. So this is the photorealistic separation that was designed using the image effects plugin. So when you move it, you'll see how that white ink's blocking out different areas on the substrate. The top area here where we have the scented paint company as a foil is shown as a foil, and the same with the text down at the bottom. Next, the 4-color will print over the top, and you will then see their design. And as we move that around, you'll see how the paint can becomes metallic, everything else stays bright and visual and colourful, and the text at the top comes out in a foil. So there we have a quick and easy way of being able to visualize that using the Esco product. Now, we also did one with metallic ink, so using the same design. Metallic ink is the opposite of metallic substrates, so I'm going to take my file and I'm actually just going to re-edit this. So I'm going to change the white ink separation into a silver. I'm going to use the ColorLogic silver, and change the board over to, let's just have a satin coated. Update the file, and then you can see the metallic ink. So the metallic ink is not going to be as bright and as lustrous as the foil, but there we have it. So quickly and easily we can visualize the two files using the Esco Studio Visualizer.